Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this weekly ag weather update brought to you by AgCarolina Farm Credit. Well, to get us started in this video, one of the major things we're going to be watching at the beginning of this week will be the development of some strong to severe storms in the day on Tuesday here across the eastern part of the country, really getting centered there on North, South Carolina, as well as Virginia. We'll be watching for severe storms the day before on Monday back in here, and that's going to translate to the east by the time we get into it. So a pretty vigorous system moving through the middle part of the country. Now behind this, we've got some pretty cold air that is coming into place and is going to stick around for a while. In fact, look at that image over there on the right. We're looking now into next Monday, so I'm talking about the 12th here. We still see this very deep upper level trough feature sitting here over the eastern part of the country. But what we're going to talk about in this video is how we're going to expect to see that trough feature finally translate to the east by the time we get maybe into the third week of the month, allowing for some warmer weather to finally move back into the eastern part of the United States. But until then, we are locked into a colder pattern that's going to start off quite stormy to begin this upcoming week. So let's kind of dig on into this. Let's take a look at some recent precipitation. We've seen a very active storm track in through this section of the country. So it's been very, very wet in through here. Now, other than the rain showers we had in the overnight hours on Sunday and Monday morning, a lot of the Carolinas had some drier conditions over the last week. Now, certainly that's not true as you get farther to the west in the higher country here, but along the eastern half of both North and South Carolina, things were relatively dry until that rain came through on Sunday. But I just want to put this into context. Look at the map that's kind of embedded down there in the bottom left. We're looking here at the U.S. Drought Monitor. This was the most recent drought monitor we had available. It came out last Thursday on November the 1st. And what we really see here is that much of the eastern two-thirds of the country is largely void of drought stress. And I think that given the overall pattern we're seeing set up for this winter, I don't expect for drought to develop anywhere east of the Rocky Mountains really this winter as well. Now, what were we getting in the overnight hours on Sunday? Well, we had some flow off of the Atlantic, kind of converging with some flow off of the Gulf of Mexico, and this little frontal boundary that was kind of sliding through there. You could see it produce this nice frontal squall line that went through parts of, Missouri, down into parts of Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas in the day on Sunday. And as it came through, we did bring in some widely scattered showers and storms in the overnight hours, Sunday night into Monday morning. By the way, if you're curious, you see all the green and blue blobs that you see over here in this part of the U.S.? Well, that is actually where the radars are detecting bugs. Yeah, that's what that is. That's an artifact of the radar. Okay, but moving forward, what do we have to pay attention to? Well, you just watch with me the upper level flow of the atmosphere through the next 10 days. What you're going to be seeing is right in through this area, repeated deepening of this upper level trough. Now, why do we care about this so much? Well, whenever we are able to swing these little short waves, there's a little wiggles around the edges of this trough. They are the initiators in terms of bringing in upper level support to develop low pressure systems. And if that trough doesn't move, it just keeps the storm track in the same location. So the severe storms that you're going to get on Tuesday, are just going to be the first of potentially 3 rounds of rainfall over the next 10 days. And I'm going to tell you too, because of the position of this trough, the cooler weather is here to stay. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Play this one out. You will see that over the next 10 days, that upper level trough, see it there, just keeps kind of spiraling around such that by the time we get all the way out to November the 14th, we're still dealing with this deeper upper level trough over the western half of the country while the ridge sits way out west. And if the pattern stays like that, it will be cool in through this area. So cooler air is on its way and it will be here quite soon. Now, in the day on Monday, there's a boundary tucked away right there, and that will be the boundary that will be advancing toward the Carolinas on Tuesday. On Monday, plenty of warm, moist, unstable air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. We will see the initiation of probably some supercell thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes, but then this will more than likely line itself out into a big long squall line that will progress toward the Carolinas in the coming days. But just so you can see, to your west, we have a slight risk and even an enhanced risk of some severe thunderstorms on Monday. By the time we get into Tuesday, like I said, this all progresses to the east, and you will see a narrow band of strong storms that will be moving through midday in the day on Tuesday. So let's kind of take a close look at this. early in the morning on Monday, so we're now talking about the 5th here, 5 a.m., we're still dealing with the scattered showers and storms that kind of came up on that convergent flow there out of the southeast and out of the southwest. But as we progress forward, what you're going to see here in this animation is that throughout the day on Monday, severe storms are going to start to blow up there in parts of Arkansas and in the mid-Mississippi River Valley. So this is now 6 p.m. on Monday. The main severe weather threat is here. But as I progress forward, what you'll see is the overall system takes shape just like this, such that a large frontal squall line moves in the overnight hours on Monday night into Tuesday morning, into early Tuesday morning, such that by midday Tuesday, that squall line is set up right here in the middle part of the Carolinas. And on it, we could get some brief heavy downpours and some strong gusty winds, and that's why there's still the risk for some severe weather in the Carolinas throughout the afternoon on Tuesday. Now, after this one goes through, some much colder air is coming down into place. But just to show you the total accumulated precipitation, well, a lot of this that we're going to start off with was coming in the overnight hours on Sunday into Monday morning. But as I animate forward, you're going to see we're going to add to that as that boundary pushes on off to the east, bringing in that chance for some scattered showers and storms. So we're looking at a pretty widely scattered area here of at least a ½ inch of rainfall, possibly some locations where the boundary kind of stalls out a little bit in here to the middle part of the Carolinas, where we may see better than an inch and a half of rain. Certainly some of the heavier rainfall amounts could happen under the storm cells that will hammer parts of the middle part of the Carolinas. All right. Beyond that, what are we watching? So let's now switch models and run out our 10-day European model here, okay? So if we take this back and start it again, let's see what we're going to watch. I'm getting you through the overnight hours on Tuesday into Wednesday morning there. So that's the line of storms on Tuesday. Now behind that, some windy conditions and some cold conditions in the north and central part of the United States, and that's where the cold air really dives in. You'll see it in just a few seconds. But here comes round 3. See it right there? So we had round 1, that was on Sunday night. We then had round 2 on Tuesday afternoon, and here it is. By the time we get into Friday, November the 9th, we have our next big system kind of wrapping up just like this, and you can clearly see our next round of showers and storms toward the end of the week. So that means after the storms come through on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday and Thursday are halfway decent days, but we certainly have a big system coming through at the end of the week. You see it moving right through there by the time we get into Saturday morning, bringing in round 3 precipitation. Now behind that one, there will be a big dome of high air pressure sitting right here, and that is going to cool things off. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is an animation looking at over the next 10 days of temperature anomalies every 6 hours. Now we may start off the week warmer than average because we're still out ahead of that first system, but watch this. Are you ready? Yeah, there it goes. That's the much cooler air coming in by the end of the week. So we start off the week relatively warm, but by the end of the week, we will have an Arctic air blast coming through here, knocking temperatures way, way, way down. So it is certainly going to be getting much cooler than average as we progress through the second week of this month. Now, if we do look at one thing before I give you that long-range forecast, here's the European model ensemble, okay? And what do we see? We see the potential here in the Appalachian Mountains for some snow. Not much, but some snow at the higher elevation. So I just want to let you know, in case you are in that area or if you are going to be driving over the mountains, there is some chance over the next 7 days, once that colder air arrives, of getting some snow here in the very high elevations in parts of Virginia, western North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Okay, what is the pattern going to do? Well, by the time we get to the 14th of November, it's still here. Ridge out west, big deep trough over the east. But look what happens by the time we get to the 17th. The main ridge axis moves east. And by the 19th, it could possibly be here running up the Gulf Coast all the way to the Great Lakes. Now, what does that mean? If we build back in a ridge, by the time we get into that third week of the month, we could get a rebound back up toward near average to above average temperatures. Now, remember, up until this point, we got some cold air that is on its way to the Carolinas. But I've got multi-model support here. This is the European model you're looking at now, but I've seen this in the GFS as well. And there's some good analog support coming out of the Pacific Ocean that would suggest that this mid to late month warm-up is the real deal. Could be coming in after the cooler weather you're going to see here in the coming days. But what I want to finish on is this map. We're looking at the next 15 days of precipitation anomalies. Because over most of that time, there'll be a ridge out west and a deep plunging trough over the east. you will see a very active storm pattern. Remember, we got 3 chances of precipitation coming up in the coming days, and that's why you see right in through here, this is wetter than average. Now, I want to reiterate something we've been talking about in several videos. More than likely, when we look at the developing Mordecai El Nino, that weak El Nino in the Central Pacific, given that, plus the temperatures in the North Pacific near Alaska, this may be the favored weather pattern throughout much of our winter. And so because of that, I am right now not afraid at all of drought developing along the eastern half of the United States throughout this winter. In fact, I'm expecting to see the opposite, a very active storm track and cooler than average weather. And that's just a reiteration of some of the stuff we've been talking about in these recent videos. I think this may be a map you'll see me show quite a bit in the upcoming months. With that, though, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this forecast video. We at AgCarolina, thank you for your attention. Hope you look forward to our next update coming out next week. Thank you.